Today is the 125th day of my 126-day juice fast. Wow, I can't believe I finally get to say that. Um, I started out the 5th of July weighing 309 pounds, and this morning I weighed 225, which is an 84-pound loss over the 125 days. That's a big deal. I'm totally happy about it. I can't believe it's almost over. It's a little bit scary, but I'll talk about that in a few minutes. Um, so many things have been accomplished in the last 4 months. Probably first and foremost, I proved to myself that I can stick to something that's really, really hard. Um, I have willpower. So that question can now be put to bed, and I will have to find another excuse for not losing weight in the future should this ever come up again. It's also changed my outlook on so many things. My desire to do things. I had no desire um, to to go outside. I had no desire to do anything remotely physical 4 months ago, and that's totally changed. I'm looking for opportunities where I can be outdoors or be doing something that's not sedentary. Um, it's also been really helped me realize that I love to cook. It's become an outlet for me to make food for other people during this process and experiment with flavors and ask them for suggestions. And I'm also really wanting to cook a lot healthier than I have in the past. I mean, with five sons and a meat and potatoes family, there's been a huge change in the kind of meals that I've prepared as I've gotten closer and closer to this journey, done more research, watched more documentaries, read more books. I've read a lot of books thanks to my sister on vegetarian and vegan eating, and realizing how healthy for you a plant-based diet really is. And we're not yet 100% committed to becoming a vegan or vegetarian family, but we're making huge strides in that direction. And I personally have a commitment. Um, just a couple days ago, I made a vegetarian, I don't call it a feast, it looked like a feast to me after 120 plus days of juice. I did vegetarian tacos, and the filling was actually olives and black beans and zucchini, of course spices, and then it was corn tortillas, and then there was a vegan sour cream that we made with it. We did what else did I have that night? Oh, these onion rings that were, according to at least a few of the eaters, out of this world crispy, even though they're baked and not fried. Carrots that are made with maple syrup and a little bit of salt, and they gobbled those up. And then a Chinese inspired huge chopped salad. And that salad is a big hit in my family. I can make a bowl that's like giant, and in the next day it's totally gone. Everybody loves it. And they're not missing as much the bacon, the steak, all the stuff that was our staples before. So that's been good, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that evolves in the next few months. Um, Probably the biggest emotional change for me is starting to like myself again, and who I am, and feel like I have something to offer to those around me other than maybe the ability to work, which is all I felt like I've brought to the table for a pretty long time. Um, Being able to earn a wage that helps keep the family, doing what they want to do. But I want to be more than that to my kids, and of course to my husband. And I feel like this has made such a difference in moving towards that. I was looking back when I was trying to find some good or bad, probably before pictures of some things that I did early this year, and I was looking at the pictures of a family trip we took to the Grand Canyon and Las Vegas in February of this year. And I'm not in very many pictures, and I know that was by my choice. Um, but the pictures I am in, I can see the misery in my eyes of being in that photo. And I'll be putting some of these on my blog, a couple of them today, and most of them will be next week when I come back from this little trip I'm about to go on. But I can see that I've changed in a lot of ways, and I know that I'm going to continue to change. This journey is far from over. I still have about 90 pounds to lose, and it's well, I mentioned at the beginning, there's some things I'm scared about. The biggest one being that this juicing, this is easy and delicious. Um, I don't have to make a choice about what I'm going to eat at every meal. That's what I'm going to have. And those choices are going to be introduced to me again. And I need to be willing to be as committed to my new healthy choices, even though there will be a variety of them, as I have been to this juice fast. Otherwise, I'm going to go the other direction. I know that about myself. So I have made a commitment to, until the 31st of January, I'm going to be eating raw vegan. I will be journaling that. I will be blogging that, and I will be putting my videos on YouTube, because I really appreciate and have needed the support. This gives me something to be accountable to. And I like looking back myself at the process and seeing how I've changed. I hope that by the end of January, I look at today and go, wow, you were pretty big. And just like I do now, looking back at those before pictures from earlier in the year. The best part about this, the raw vegan, is that I believe my husband is going to join me for this. I don't know if he's committed to 3 months worth like I am, but I know that he wants to do it. For him, it's not about weight loss, but it is about taking control of type 1 diabetes that he's had for close to 30 years. And we've found that even more than the vegetarian eating, which includes a lot of like potatoes and corns, the starches, that when he sticks to the 80-10-10 with mostly fruits and leafy greens and not the starchy veggies, that his blood sugars have better control than any other food plan that he's ever been on. And of course, those high blood sugars are what lead to complications, and we want him to be around. I want him to be around as long as possible. So I will be letting you know how that goes with him as well. Let's see. I guess I'll tell you about the difficult thing that's happened to me the last few weeks. One aspect of my journey has really gotten derailed, and it's reflective, it's direct relation to an aspect of my personality that I'm not quite sure how to change. When I make a goal and I start working toward that goal, each step, each piece of progress that I make, I don't want to slip back from that. I don't want to. It's hard for me to stumble and get back up. So if I'm not making forward momentum, then I'm sliding backwards. And when I started exercising early in September, anybody who's watched or read about it knows that I started out just by walking. I started out walking for 45 minutes up a fairly steep hill, turning around and walking back. And each day I'd walk for that 45 minutes, but I'd get farther and farther up to the point where I could walk a little over 2 miles in the 45 minutes, or about 2 miles in the 45 minutes. Not a huge accomplishment for an athlete, but for me, who'd been sedentary for most of a decade, big deal. So I started doing that 3 times a week, then 4 times a week, then 5 times a week. So I was walking 20 miles a week, but then I added in Zumba classes 2 or 3 days a week. And I was doing this because my eventual goal here, and I guess I should still say it is my goal, it's not that it was my goal, it still is my goal, is about 10 hours of exercise a week, vigorous exercise. So 5 to 6 hours of cardio and 4 to 5 hours of weight training are where I eventually would like to end up. And I was really close to getting that because the end of September, early October, I joined our local gym. And I live in a very small town. I know there's some smaller, but there's not many. There is a gym in my town, or I should say there was a gym in my town. Not great facilities. I think there was one working elliptical and a couple working treadmills. There were some weight sets, but there was equipment that I could use. And my main reason for joining that gym was so that I could start doing something indoors before it gets too cold here to work out outdoors. And that hill that I walk up is pretty treacherous in the winter. There's no guardrails, and if the cars that live up there, there's no way to stop them coming down the snow. So sometime in the next 30 days, that road's going to be unwalkable, and I didn't want to be derailed. So joined the gym, started doing regular cardio there in addition to my walks, or in replacement of some of my walks. And then I started doing CrossFit workouts, which were awesome, and I was so excited that I was actually able to get through some modified CrossFit workouts. I was on such a high in the middle of October. I was so excited about how far my fitness had changed in just 6 weeks since I had started working out. And then came the phone call. It was a phone call that my husband took, and they were calling to have him let Gabriel, his oldest, know that the gym was closing the end of October and they were sending Gabe a refund because he had paid for several months in advance. And when he got off the phone, he just casually told me the gym's closing down, which we'd kind of heard was rumored, but I didn't realize it was going to be so fast. And so my heart just sank, and I grabbed the phone and I called back the person who'd called in and started asking her questions, who's going to take the gym over. She said that they sold the equipment to another company in town, but that they weren't planning on opening a gym until the first of the year at the earliest. And so all of a sudden I was looking at 2 months without a gym. I don't have a garage at my house. I do have weight equipment, but it's sitting outside. And right now that's still somewhat doable. I mean, it's in the 20s and 30s, in the mornings or evenings here. But it's not going to be doable for very long, because sometimes we'll spend weeks with it hovering, in the teens or below. And I just don't see myself getting out there and actually completing a weight workout when my hands are going to freeze to the bars and that kind of thing. Plus, it disrupted my routine. So a normal person, a person without my issues, probably would have just embraced that last 2 weeks and used the gym to the fullest. But that's not what I did. I panicked. I quit working out. I actually, I have done, I think, 3 workouts in the last 2 weeks because I'm so upset. And it was premature because now the gym's gone, so I can't work out there. But I was so worried that my progress would get derailed that I derailed it myself, and that's not acceptable. I do have some options. I can do, some workout videos at home. I don't really have room for any new equipment. I could probably make room, but I really need a variety too. So, I mean, the videos will help for some of the cardio. And we do have a rowing machine, which I can use. And I know I've got friends who have treadmills that I can probably go to and use. But I needed something regular where I'm not imposing on somebody else, where I'm not showing up at their house, when I have, this whim that, okay, this is a good time for me to go work out. And then the weight training is really important because I love CrossFit. I want to sculpt. I want to train hard. I don't just want to sculpt my muscles. I want to train hard so that when this fat finally is all off of me, that I like what's underneath. So I still have to find a solution for that, and I haven't figured out exactly what it is. I know I'll be leaving early Tuesday morning, so in about 36 hours, my husband and I are headed to the Oregon and Washington coast to celebrate our 15th anniversary, and we're hoping to do some pretty active things while we're out. I'd actually like to go to a CrossFit class. So during that week, I think we'll probably try and come up with a solution and a plan. And once I have a plan in place that's workable and will allow me to accomplish the goals that I need to accomplish, I'll be able to stick to it. But I am fairly disappointed in myself for falling off the exercise wagon, especially because I feel like maybe if I'd have kept working out as hard as I had been, I might have hit that 90-pound goal I was trying to do. So I'm hoping when I come back next week, I'll be able to tell you I've now lost 90 pounds and be able to tell you that I know exactly what I want to do for exercise, and be as excited about that as I have been about the previous progress. I guess that's it for now. I'm not going to do my final results video now. Next week I'll do the grand reveal and let you see exactly how much I have changed in the last 3 months. I will have a few before and after pictures on my blog today, so feel free to visit that. And again, thank you so much for all the emails and all the support, and for subscribing to this. And man, if I can encourage anybody who's in the position I was 4 months ago, just do it. 4 months will go by so fast, and there's nothing that feels as good as taking charge and making the decision to feel better. That says it all. That's it. Thanks.